So I've been living in Indonesia for almost a year now, and I thought I'd share some of the good, bad, and neat things about Indonesia I've come across so far. Indonesia is arguably founded on the concept of freedom of religion. Now, despite being an almost entirely Muslim country, there's no Sharia law, women can walk around without head coverings, you can buy pork, you can even go to a bar. That being said, there are many islands, so local laws and customs can vary, and there is constant pressure from a vocal minority of Muslims who want Sharia law or Sharia-like laws. But most Muslims, at least those in the Jakarta region, seem to be fine with letting people, live their lives the way they want. Now, your religion needs to be one of the official six religions: Islam, Catholic, Christian, and yes, they do separate Catholic and Christian into two separate categories: Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. And this goes directly on your government ID. Being atheist is not allowed. Now, I actually had to get baptized again and convert from Catholicism to Christianity to marry a Christian, as both partners must be the same religion to marry. Now, regardless of religion, people here are quite conservative when it comes to sex-related stuff. Sex before marriage is practically unheard of. Having children outside marriage is around 1 to 2% compared to the 40% it is in the States. Pornography is illegal here. While being gay isn't explicitly illegal, they did try to pass a law as recently as 2019 to make it illegal. Now, the law didn't pass, but I wouldn't really consider this country to be friendly to the LGBT crowd. Now, air quality is really bad here, arguably the worst in the world. Not much more I can say about it. I get a sore throat from being outside my air filtered apartment air for more than 15 minutes. Most people wear masks when they're outside. Smoking is quite prevalent here, particularly among men. You see a lot of men smoking, and you don't really see any women smoking. There are lots of no smoking signs, in balconies and things, but those are often ignored. Indoor areas are luckily almost entirely smoke-free though, so that's good. You do find smoking rooms, and apparently just opening a window or propping a door open is all it takes to make an indoor space outdoors enough to smoke in. Another example, the police taking our IDs and getting us registered in the Face ID system when we were visiting the police department, they were smoking while they were working. And you all drive around your scooter, you'll see people smoking as they're driving their scooters too. So there's a lot of smoking that happens here, sadly. Here's a really strange one. Family names aren't a thing here. My wife doesn't share any part of her name with any other family member. Her name is entirely made up. Now, her last name literally is the word for goddess, and oh, how appropriate. Now, what do they do for families then? They have these family cards which record who your family members are. I have another video complaining about some government paperwork issues. The country is stuck between the old rules and trying to update them for the current age. The tourist digital visa versus the old identical paper visa have vastly different rules. Marrying a foreigner while owning property automatically makes owning that property illegal unless you had the foresight to sign a prenup saying property remains separate. Having to file for marriage in the village in the middle of nowhere where she grew up instead of where we live now, and there's different regional rules for marriage certificates. Pictures of you with a red background, pictures with you with a white background, depending on what city or what province you're going to file for marriage. Oh, when we got married, they gave us some plants that we had to plant, and they gave us a Bible, and they told us to have lots of babies. And I'm not sure that would go over well in North America. I think some obviously atheist or agnostic couples and couples not intending to have babies would have been quite offended at that. Now, the food is overall, I don't like it. So lots of fried foods and rice, little to no vegetables. The mee goreng, though, the fried noodles, The noodle packets are so much better than what you can find in North America. They have dried onion and oil seasoning and soy sauce and some hot sauce too. And when you mix it all together, one of these packets of noodles with some frozen vegetables, fried egg on top is probably one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. Now here, the family vehicle is the moped. They call them motorcycles. You could call them scooters too. They have a flat deck, which allows them to carry a good deal of stuff between the legs. They get over 100 miles per gallon. They have a 125cc engine and go up to about 100 kilometers per hour. But honestly, no one needs more than 60 kilometers per hour here. And they sell for less than 2,000 USD. You sometimes see, whole families on them. The mother, father, and both kids all on these scooters. In North America, you know what? I needed that big SUV because I have two kids. Listen, like we rented actually a van here, smaller than the minivans in North America, and had 8 people inside with overnight luggage when we traveled to our wedding destination. Vehicles in North America are too big and inefficient with their use of space. Now, in most of North America, I realized that you can't drive scooters year round, and so Canada can't transition to just mopeds. But it drove me crazy when I lived in the Cayman Islands. And the Cayman Islands is extremely car-centric. And this is for a country that's, it's less, I think it's less than 100 kilometers across. And like you can drive from one end if there's no traffic to the other in like, feels like 20 minutes. But when there is traffic, it's about 2 hours. Because everyone is in their own car. It's one of those places where you're not an adult unless you have a car. It's impossible to live there. Like, how can you live there without a car? You need to walk down the street. Oh, don't, it's dangerous. Let me drive you. Because it's this car-centric society where everyone drives their own car. And as I mentioned or alluded to, there's a whole country-sized traffic jam twice a day. This is a country of about 70,000 people. If most people drove scooters, then the traffic woes of the small country would be over. Oh, but the danger of scooters. Well, when there's a lot of scooters driving around every car, and between cars move slowly and predictably. All traffic flows at a safe pace. As people are smoking, passengers aren't holding on with their hands because they're busy texting. It's pretty chill and it just flows. It was anxiety inducing for me driving here, but I felt much safer driving here than trying to cycle in Victoria or Sudbury or the Cayman Islands. When there are no cyclists or scooters mixed into traffic, traffic moves too fast and cars aren't looking for non-cars. I actually haven't seen a single accident here despite probably spending about 50 hours on the road. What about the rain? Well, they just throw a poncho and the poncho covers everything. The language here is so cool. It is so smart. It is so smart. Frankly, get rid of English. We should just have the whole world convert to Indonesian. It's a phonetic language. Every letter only makes one sound. Now, some of the words are shared with English, except of course they're modified for the language. Nation in English has a T in it. Why the heck is there a T in nation? It's an S sound, nation. So because it's an S sound, it's spelt with an S in Indonesian. That just makes sense. Oh, English is so stupid. Canada, it starts with a K here. Now, let's talk about the C, because a C is sometimes an S sound or sometimes a K sound. So in Indonesian, it's mostly replaced by S and K. Now, they do have a sound for C. It's the ch sound. So there is a little bit of a learning curve to learn what the sound is for each letter. But once you learn, you can pronounce everything correctly because it's all phonetic. It also doesn't have the masculine, feminine stuff that French and Spanish have. Another thing that's really confusing in a lot of languages is verbs. I ran or I will run. The verb itself changes with different tenses, and you have to memorize all the different forms of the verbs. And, what form of the verb do I need now? There's no such thing in Indonesian. The equivalent Indonesian verb is the same regardless of the tense. So smart, so smart. Now the last one will be a small, quick one. Is light switches here are upside down compared to North America. In North America, up is on and down is off, and it's the exact opposite here, which took me a few months to get used to. I hope you found this entertaining and interesting. Have a great day. Cheers.